Welcome to another Warning Letter Wednesday. Today we're tackling a really interesting question. When is something a supplement versus a conventional food? And to crack this code, we're going to dive into a recent FDA warning letter that went out to the makers of an Amanita mushroom chocolate bar. Yeah, you heard that right.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a question that sounds super simple on the surface, but is actually a huge deal in the regulatory world. Ready? When is a supplement not a supplement?
And the answer, you're not going to believe this, might just be found in a chocolate bar. Yep, this magic mushroom chocolate bar with Amanita muscaria is the key. It's the one thing that helps us unlock this whole regulatory puzzle. See, this isn't just some hypothetical exercise. This exact chocolate bar got slapped with an official warning letter from the FDA. So we're looking at a real-world case study here, where the regulators had to step in and draw a very clear line. And this quote from the letter is really the heart of the whole thing. The FDA basically said, look, just because you call it a dietary supplement, that doesn't make it one. Why? Because the product is represented for use as a conventional food. In other words, if it looks like a food and acts like a food, the FDA is going to treat it like a food no matter what the label says. So that brings us to this key concept the FDA uses called the representation test. It sounds kind of technical, but it's pretty straightforward. So, what exactly are they looking for? How do they decide if a product is acting like a food? Well, the biggest and most obvious thing they look at is just, what does it look like? What's its form? Supplements, we think of pills, capsules, powders, maybe a tincture. But conventional foods, that's candy bars, soups, drinks, stuff you'd find in a regular grocery aisle. It's a pretty clear difference, right? And this is exactly what the FDA did with our magic chocolate bar. It's like they had a checklist. First, what's it called? Chocolate. Okay, that's a point for food. Second, what's in it? Sugar, cocoa butter, milk? Sounds like food to me. And third, what does it look like? I mean, it's packaged and shaped just like a regular candy bar. So yeah, it failed the supplement test big time. Okay, so now that we've seen how the FDA thinks, how can you figure this out for any other product? Let's get practical. I'm going to walk you through a 5-point checklist that you can use to make the call yourself. Seriously, this isn't just some academic exercise. This is absolutely critical for anyone in this space. So let's break down how you can make the call. All right, here's the checklist. Number 1, the ingredients check. Are there things in here that are only allowed in supplements? If yes, then it can't be a food. Simple. Number 2, the meal replacement test. Is it being sold as a whole meal, like a protein bar or a shake? That's a big check in the food column. 3, form factor. We just talked about this one. Does it look and act like a normal food? A soup, a candy, a brownie? Number 4 is intended use. And honestly, this one's a bit of a wash because you eat both, so it doesn't really help us tell them apart. And finally, number 5, drug status. Is the company making claims that it treats or cures a disease? Because if so, it's not a food or a supplement, it's an unapproved drug, and that's a whole other world of trouble. But wait, there's more. The story doesn't just stop at what we call it. This single decision, food or supplement, has these huge ripple effects. We're talking about safety, what you're allowed to say in your marketing, and even the future of new ingredients. So here's the thing. The second the FDA called that chocolate bar a food, a completely different rulebook came into play. Food ingredients have to be something called Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS. And let me tell you, Amanita muscaria is absolutely 100% not GRAS. So putting it in a chocolate bar, that's a huge safety risk, especially when you think about a kid accidentally grabbing it and eating the whole thing. Okay, so you'd think that's it, right? Misbranded product, unsafe ingredient, case closed. But what's really wild is that the FDA's warning letters seems to have missed something else, something big. Yeah, get this. The company's website was making all these claims about the chocolate helping with insomnia and anxiety. Those are straight-up disease claims, which are a major no-no for both foods and supplements. It's actually really surprising the FDA didn't call them out on that too. So, this whole mess leaves us with a really important question for the future. With all these problems, the form factor, the safety issues, the illegal claims, is there any legal way for an ingredient like Amanita to exist on the US market? And the answer is, well, maybe. It's interesting because buried deep in that same warning letter, the FDA mentioned the company's other products, Amanita capsules and tinctures.
They cited them for a different violation, for not having a new dietary ingredient submission. But here's the twist. That citation is also a hint. It suggests a possible path forward. If the ingredient was in a proper supplement form, like a capsule, and if it went through that whole tough NDI safety process, it just might have a shot. It really all comes down to that first question we asked. Is it a food or is it a supplement? Because as we've seen, that one little distinction changes absolutely everything.